minute late and a dollar short.
A minute late and a dollar short. Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of We Can't Wrestle Live, a Monday edition of the show. Nate and Kyle here with you as usual to talk about the modern product of professional wrestling. Some weeks it's depressing, some weeks it's encouraging,
Did
other
you see
weeks it's.
this? The kind of week it's been.
It has definitely
Jesus.
been a week. Mm. Before we start about that, though, a couple things I want to say that are non wrestling related. Firstly, have you ever watched? Did you watch the first season of Afterlife on Netflix, the Ricky Gervais show?
No,
I am a huge Ricky Gervais fan,
I am
so
too.
I watched the show, and the second season just came out as well. You need to watch it. Anybody that's watching this needs to watch that. It's a fantastic show. It is funny. It is dramatic. It is sad. It's almost a perfect television show. So Afterlife, Ricky Gervais, watch it. I'm trying to get the stream up here so I can see if we have any comments for those Facebook users that don't
Before
grant
we get into pro
permissions.
wrestling, did you watch the season finale or the series finale of Clone Wars yet?
I did, and it is epic. I'm not going to give any
Mm,
spoilers to
nope.
anybody,
Yep.
but it
Go
might
go
be.
watch it.
I'm trying to debate right now if that the last four episodes of that show or Rogue One are the best things Disney has done with Star Wars yet. I can't, you know what I mean? Like the
Hmm.
last four episodes of Clone Wars is as good a movie as Rogue One. And
Hmm.
but kudos to Disney on that. Kudos to Disney on The Mandalorian. People are like shitting on Disney for what they're doing with Star Wars, but look at all the good stuff they're doing with
Oh,
Star Wars. You know?
like what? I don't get it.
Yeah, I've liked everything they've done.
Yeah,
There was little things about the trilogy that I could nitpick or whatever, but overall I liked the trilogy.
yeah.
So, well, and Star Wars fans are like wrestling fans. They're
Never happy.
sadomasochists.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're never happy.
they want to hate the thing they love so badly. So, well, let's see. Other than that, before we get into it, check out episode 96. We have our review of SummerSlam 1997, and
Such a
we talked about the GWF, the Global Wrestling Federation, with the recent passing of Joe Pedicino. Um, and Aaron and I on Thursday are hopefully going to be getting together again with Chad Austin for another conversation. So that should be fun.
if it's
Um,
anything like the first one, it's going to be good.
yes. The man is awesome, great storyteller,
Yep.
great former pro wrestler. So check that out.
It's really cool to get an insight from somebody that was in the business
Hmm.
and somebody who got to experience the things that he got to experience. So it's really cool. It's a good listen.
And it's not you're not talking to um I never once felt like his stories were him being a wrestler blowing smoke up my ass. I never felt like I was getting worked.
Yep.
uh, just a good conversation, good dude. Chad, we love you, brother, and we're looking forward to talking to you on Thursday. Now, that being said, before we get into the shows from the week, I want to get your reaction to a couple of things, Mr. Kyle. Firstly, fucking Jerry Briscoe got released. Jerry Briscoe.
I don't think this is the end of it. I think we're going to see more and more to come because from what I've heard, anybody who wants a release, they're going to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think that. Trying to think someone big. I was going to say Roman Reigns, but he might be
Yeah,
on the
that's.
way out.
It sounds like that relationship is a little rocky right now.
Can you
Excuse the
imagine if he
pun
goes
with
over
his
to
cousin.
AEW?
Wow.
We are. Yeah, it's very interesting. But like I said, I don't get it. Why is it that we're getting rid of all these guys that still have something to contribute to wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
Gerald Briscoe is he was one of the last. I mean, well, except for Michael Hayes, and he's a racist bomb away from getting fired, anyways. but but really, besides him, who else has been there that was around and wrestled in the heyday?
Right. Yeah,
There
that
really
has
isn't.
that knowledge. Well, and not just that, but Jerry's job, as of recent years, has been to go out and scout talent. And who better than to scout talent than Jerry fucking Briscoe, and to bring you some talent, some great wrestlers that can come wrestle for your company. And I mean, and it's one of those things where was it? I don't know. Was he looking to get out, or what have you? Maybe he did, because I don't think that the inside of it has been reported. Maybe he did say, "Yeah, just let me go
Yeah,
and
but
retire." And
I've got a feeling, and I'm going on a speculation here. I have no fucking idea. I'm not anybody special, but to me, with the performance center and everything that Triple H is doing, not that he's doing a bad job. I mean, thanks to him it's NXT, but when you have him and Stephanie and all these people who are like, yeah, that's great, Jerry, but we know how to make a star.
mhm.
I think that's the one thing that I wish that Stephanie and Hunter would take that Vince had in his younger years was the foresight to listen to people.
Listen to the people from the past
Yeah.
that can embark that knowledge on you. And in a way, Vince has bred that in them, because even though when he first, took over the company, he was listening to his dad's guys like an Arnold Skolin and a Gorilla Monsoon, but he had a respect for those guys.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas I think that as time has gone on, he has fostered a culture that says ignore the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
And because he has fostered that culture, because over time he figured, well, I'm the only game in town. I don't need to foster the legacy of wrestling anymore, because it's just the WWE now. This is what it is, and this is the narrative that we're going to live by, and et cetera, et cetera. So I blame him. I really do. I blame him, because he has instilled this in the people that are taking over from him.
Yeah.
Eventually, when he croaks at 107 or whatever.
Now, I don't know what else we're moving on to, but um, speaking of Vince McMahon and guys from the past, I watched the Dark Side of the Ring with
Dr.
um,
D.
yeah,
I have not watched that one yet.
it is really good.
I
It
have
is.
heard that John Stossel exposes himself to be a real piece of shit.
Oh God, he does not let it go. Even all these years later, he's still he he point out says that he went to their doctor during the lawsuit and they said, you know what, I think you're just doing this for the money. And he's like, he's like, looking back, probably I was. I'm like, you piece of shit. Like,
Well, it's
and
just
you
like,
know what? I fully support Dr. D doing what he did.
mm, yeah,
Same thing with Hogan choking out Richard Belzner.
Richard Belzer, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like, you know what? You want to talk shit and you want to try to play, like, oh, this is fake. Well,
have you ever heard what Richard Belzer calls his house in France?
what is the house that Vince bought?
Shea Hogan,
Shea Hogan.
because he says he bought it with the lawsuit money that
I bet he did. I bet he did.
Aaron just commented, hashtag booty beef, hashtag you're welcome for the rub. Aaron, stop rubbing your booty beef and go back to
Yeah,
work.
no. Look, I don't know about some of the southern states, but in most of the continental U.S., rubbing your booty beef is against the law. So
Last thing before we get through the TV shows from the week. So apparently in Florida, they are going to be able to have crowds for wrestling again.
oh wow,
Um,
I wonder how
the
much that cost to buy.
the well, WWE did give to that PAC
Mm-hmm.
down in
And it's
Florida.
amazing.
Isn't it crazy how that works? And it's going to benefit AEW too. But what that tells me is for the next few months, all wrestling shows are going to be taking place down in Florida.
This
I
is true,
mean,
but you know
they're
what though?
they're apparently they're allowed to. There has to be social distancing, and they're only allowed to fill the wherever they are, whether it's Full Sail or whatever. They're only allowed to have 25% capacity. So if it's 1,000 seat thing, they can have 250 people there.
I bet you the AEW, if they were smart, they're going to hold off and wait just a little bit to see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Vince is going to do it right away, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, from what I hear, they could be putting people into Full Sail as early as next week for Raw. I know they had this week's stuff taped, so I guess we'll see.
What does that do for Money in the Bank?
Mm, I think they probably leave that as it is, because I'm wondering if they've already even recorded. They probably already recorded it.
Well, there was pictures of the set on
Hmm.
top of the on top of Titan Tower or headquarters or whatever it's called now. So they probably did because I don't see
Hmm.
them just setting that shit up just to
Just to
set it
not do
up.
it, yeah. Or maybe they'll do. They could possibly do half live and then half, the Money in the Bank matches at the excuse moi, at the headquarters. But
Like I
Aaron
get,
says Aaron says he'll rub his motherfucking booty beef whenever and wherever he wants to.
well, you'll be rubbing that booty beef into prison, and then you'll have some guy named Jesus that'll be rubbing your booty beef. It's not. It
All
has to
right.
be like tiny, like Zeus. Oh, oh,
Oh man. Okay. So Monday Night Raw this week. Actually, you know what's funny? I did not in in most of the show. I did not mind Raw this week. I thought it was a decent show. Um, the VIP lounge thing to start the show with Mysterio and Aleister Black and Apollo Crews. That was very formula. It's your stand. They came out, did their thing. Then of course the heels come out. I'm still even though I think that they're not. I want to say, like I said last week or the week before, they make Zelina's crew look weak. I don't like the way the crew is booked, but I like the crew and I really like her. She is like she's been one of the shining good consequences of the fact that they have the skeleton crew
yeah.
is letting her show her talent. She's like, it's cool to see a good heel manager in wrestling again, and I think she's been doing a great job.
It, and that's the thing about it. I hope that once we get out of the social distancing and everything else, that they allow that to keep happening because it's almost like it feels to me that they're almost doing it like, well, we got to have some type of sound ringside, so let's have a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once the crowd comes back, are they going to get rid of that?
Right, and I hope
I hope
not,
not.
because she's
Yeah,
like I said, she's doing a great job. She's so good at um, she's almost Sunny good
yeah.
as far as like the bitchy female heel manager. She's almost Sunny good in that respect, and she's got a lot of years to grow. So I think they've got a good investment in her. I I'm also a big fan of De La Renta from MLW. They're both kind of, but I like De La Renta a little better. Um, but Zelina has really changed my mind on her the past month or so.
Yep.
Before she was just kind of there with Andrade. She wasn't at the front of the situation, and so I
Well,
couldn't see her full potential.
we'll see. And this is the other thing that's it's kind of been a blessing in disguise with this whole social distancing thing. Like with WrestleMania and everything else, it's come and gone. You didn't have the Monday after WrestleMania that we normally have, where you
Hmm.
have surprise after surprise, and oh, Hulk Hogan's coming back or The Rock's coming. They ain't coming back. So now you're getting some of these guys are getting their chance
Hmm. And
to
hopefully
show
that,
what they.
like you said, hopefully once they're back in the swing of things, that remains, and maybe these guys are showing WWE that they can be the stars.
Yep.
Um, David Gold, what was that about booty beef? David, you'd have to ask Aaron. He's the only one that knows really what the booty beef is. Claire Peller's dead, so she can't say where's the booty beef. I'm sorry.
Nope.
It's the 6-man
Where's the
tag was too
you?
long,
You don't want to know where the booty beef's at.
or where it's been.
No, no. Oh hell. Oh.
Strutting and button, baby. Sorry, I had to.
Mm.
Hashtag strutting and button. We got to get that out there too. The 6-man tag was too long. It was a good match, but it was too long for an empty arena. There's a lot of these matches that would be decent in front of a crowd, but they're too long for an empty arena.
That's the thing. It I don't know. To me, it's like you ever get that thing where it's it's like when something, even as fans, like we're not pro wrestlers, but you get that feeling of like, oh, this should have fucking ended like 10 minutes. Like that wasn't a finish. Like really?
Well, and I'll be honest, and this isn't downplaying the workers, but you said we're not wrestlers, so but we're still saying that. However, we are the audience that the wrestlers are trying to
Yep.
entertain. So in reality, our opinion does matter because if there's a lot of people that aren't like you and I that aren't hardcore or sometimes just watching these shows because we have to because we do a show about them. There are a lot of people that are just like, fuck this, I'm turning it off, and they just don't watch it, and
Right. But see, here's the thing. Okay, if you go back and look at like Ric Flair when he would do the 60-minute, matches with like uh, Ricky Steamboat. If you paid your money to see that, that was great.
Mhm.
But if you saw that every fucking week, it would get boring and it would get fucking tiresome real quick.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just that's the way it is. It's all great and dandy to say, say like, oh, we did 60 minutes every night. Yeah, but you guys were in different cities.
Different, yep, absolutely. Well, and that's one of the inherently one of the problems that came from the Attitude Era was that it, the Monday Night War era, I should say, was that it changed wrestling to where every single week you don't have, and I like the fact that that's another benefit of this social distancing thing is we have seen more jobber matches.
Yep.
And those matches are to me are inherent to what they're important to wrestling because especially in WWE, the way WWE books with the 50-50 booking, but when you have main eventers versus main eventers, then somebody has to not be the main eventer, so now half of your stars aren't stars.
Yep.
So the jobber matches, the enhancement matches were so important because Akeem comes out week after week and beats jobbers, and he's a star. So when he gets in the ring with the big boss man, who is also a star, and the big boss man beats him, the big boss man beats somebody.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
and see, and that's the other big problem with it now is I don't know, is Superstar still on? Is the main event still
I
on?
don't know. Oh, I
But
don't have any
see,
idea.
here's the problem: is that back in the day you had Sunday Night Heat, where you had the jobber matches,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had in WCW you had Saturday Night towards the end, where it was the underneath guys, where you would see a I don't know,
Hugh Morris versus Bull Payne or something like that.
yeah, and Hugh Morris would win, and then that way when it went to Monday night and Hugh Morris fought Goldberg, it meant something.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
and that's the problem now is that we're getting these jobber matches, but these jobber matches, who are they? It's just some
Yeah.
random guy.
Back in the day, every week Barry Hardy was there, Dwayne Gill was there. Uh, who's another famous jobber? Israel Mata was there, and
Nope.
they were there. And you know what? God damn it, they were losing every single week. But we talked about that with Chad Austin. I don't know if you remember that part of the interview where it
Yeah.
was like,
Oh, yeah.
you come to the arena every week, and it's like, oh man, I'm teaming with Jose Estrada. Fuck, I'm gonna lose. But Jose Estrada's like, this is gonna be my week, man.
And you believed it. You wanted to see it.
Exactly.
And but it was also because they let those people have wins.
Mm-hmm.
And you also had, amazing talent to put it over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. How many times have you watched WCW Monday Nitro and, Eddie Guerrero beats, I don't know, Hugh Morris or beats Silver King? And Bobby Heenan's like, oh, he beat Silver King. That's impressive. That
Yeah.
is one tough man.
But now, yeah. Okay,
Now,
so are we going to hinder the gender? Because Jinder Mahal is back. The former WWE champion, Jinder Mahal, who was a big debate back when we first started our show. I remember debating Jinder Mahal back in the early days of We Can't Wrestle, when he was the WWE champion.
I'm going to say this. To me, he's talented.
Mm-hmm.
He's good in the ring.
He's not
He
world champion talented, but he is talented. You're right.
but he needs something where if he had taken a run with like the United States Championship, came out and been something like, I don't know, something along the lines of like, I have this now, and I'm going to prove that India is better than
Right.
the United States, or some the old heel heat stuff and everything. Maybe he could have built himself up to
Mm-hmm.
a world champion spot, but the fact is that you had him beat Randy Orton.
I, I don't know about you, but I think they're thinking right now is they're going to try to do probably him and Drew and go back to the 3MB history, which I don't. I don't mind that though, and here's why I say that because just like, and I whatever we'll get to it later, but one of my favorite things in WWE right now is Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. I like the story of that. Those two guys have a history, and they're using that history to give me a good story. Like I actually enjoy that feud, and I think that would be okay with Drew and Jinder. You know, have
My
them.
my only fear is that is it too soon with Drew, because now you have him being the world champion and he's the guy.
Mhm.
Do you bring it back to the 3MB where it's like not too long ago this guy was a fucking raging goof and they played fucking air guitar and they had a midget that
Well, I mean, I guess you can because in reality, in the lead up videos to WrestleMania, they already admitted it.
yeah
You know,
true
when he was telling his story, you know, he told the story. That was part of the story he told was that period of time. So I mean, you could. I think you could legitimately make it work.
right. I'm just thinking back to like Austin and Pillman like when they had their feud. I know it was WCW, but they never really all they said was like, oh, these guys used to wrestle together. And
Hmm.
can you imagine if they showed the videos and stuff of Austin and Pillman that like
The Hollywood Blondes, yeah, if they would have had access to that footage at the time. So I thought that and here's the thing. I keep saying it. I thought this week's Raw was good. I thought that coming out of the 6 man and then going into the match with Apollo Cruz and Andrade for the U.S. title, they had a good match. It was a decent length. They did the injury angle. They give you a reason to want to see the. They told that was good wrestling storytelling this week with that whole thing with
you know
Andrade and Apollo Cruz, and you know I thought that was good stuff, and I thought Drew and Seth's signing was good because Drew's character is fucking bad. Drew McIntyre and Bray Wyatt are my two favorite things about WWE right now. I love the fact that he told Lawler, Jerry, you know how these things usually end, don't you? And Lawler was like, yeah, and he goes, yeah, that's how this one's gonna end. You might as well take off. You know, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna hit this fucker with the table. So
but
he didn't play games about it. He didn't.
no. And see, and that's the thing about it is say what you want to say about Seth Rollins and everything else, but right now they are hitting on all cylinders
Hmm.
because you have a guy who is the baby face, who you want to see kick the living shit out of Seth Rollins, who
Hmm.
is a despicable heel. It's
And
not
he's
science. It's not rocket
no,
science.
no, it's wrestling storytelling. And
Exactly.
Drew is a great Drew is a great face because he see when they first wanted him to go face, I was such you know I've always been a mark for him, but I was always more of a mark for him as a heel. And so when I first heard he was going face, I was a little worried that he was going to get to be that cheesy. You know how they do their faces, man, the cheesy
Mm-hmm.
lines and the but I don't want to compare Drew McIntyre yet to Stone Cold Steve Austin, but his character is maybe the closest thing to Stone Cold since Stone Cold.
Well,
He's
he
cocky,
is
he's confident, he doesn't give a fuck. You know, he knows he's the baddest man in the room.
exactly. He is. He's got the size. He's got the power and everything else for him. He is a full time Brock Lesnar,
Hmm.
where he can back it up, and you know, like when you watch, you're gonna see something good.
And it's going to be a better than a Brock Lesnar match because
Yeah,
it's not going to be all one or two moves and then here comes the
yeah.
finish. Um, So overall, like I said, I thought Raw was good. They did the Triple H defining moments stuff, which some of them I thought were a little like what? Okay, but anyway.
But oh, look, I know we talked about this last time, but why why are they focusing so much on Triple H's 25 years? Again, they didn't do that for anybody else.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Triple H. He's great and everything, and it's yeah,
Hopefully, come November. If here's what we'll do. Let's retro this. Come November, if they don't start doing a 30-year celebration of the Undertaker, then we can be like,
yeah,
bullshit.
exactly.
NXT this week. The I'm still kind of baffled by what an interim champion is, but the interim cruiserweight title tournament continues. Good matches, good matches. It's given us, I liked the Shane Strickland um, Phantasma match. Um, I liked the Nice Maverick match, although the Maverick storyline, I'm still like I'm torn on this Maverick storyline because you're releasing people and then you're making a storyline out of this guy being released, and I don't know. It to me, it's kind of a slap in the face to the people you fired. I mean,
You're talking about the same man who sat there and had fucking Randy Orton come out and say that Eddie's not up in heaven, Eddie's down there in hell.
this is true. This
You're
is
talking about the
true.
same guy who had fucking the Melanie come out the next night after Brian Pillman died to have an interview.
It's world wrestling exploitation, ladies and
Come
gentlemen.
on, damn. I mean,
You speak the truth, my friend. You speak the truth. um, I Okay, so a couple of things about this. We talked about those two matches. I thought they were good matches. The tournament's cool. I still don't quite understand why the interim champion thing is silly because it's just going to result in a ladder match or something when what's his face is allowed to come back to the country.
yeah, it's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be Razor and Shawn and at WrestleMania, pal. And it's like, no, it's not because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the guy hasn't with Shawn Michaels. He actually left the company, so they had to
Right.
crown a new intercontinental champion. This isn't like why am I blanking on the cruiserweight champion's name? Jordan Devlin. That's it. Um, Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are amazing heels. I
Mm-hmm.
did not see this coming. They did the smartest thing they could with Candice by completely changing her look and everything because she's super likable. I really, really like her new heel look. I like her new heel attitude, and her and Johnny are. I did not see them as good heels coming. I was very pessimistic when they turned them heel.
With Candice LeRae, like if you go back and watch like PWG when she was with your favorite of mine, fucking Mr. Crotch Grab himself, but when they were the world's cutest tag team or whatever, like she had some great heel stuff.
hmm
So like I wasn't too worried about that. But Johnny Gargano is the one guy. It's like he doesn't scream heel. He doesn't look like a heel.
But he's doing a good job.
He is. He is. It's like I'm trying to think of some other good heels that have been his size. Almost like a Kevin Sullivan.
hmm Or, or, when 1, 2, 3 Kid turned heel.
Yes.
And I know. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you're right. It's like he's gonna have to somehow his size. He's gonna have to compensate for his size, and maybe to compensate for his size, he cheats. Chris Wood chimed in. He said they've already compared the interim angle to the Razor Shawn feud on commentary.
Oh, I bet they have.
Yes, and the problem with that I have, Chris, is it's not like the Shawn Razor feud because we have a champion. He hasn't left the company. He's a champion, and they have defended UK titles in the US. So why can't he defend a US title in the UK and remain champion? That's all I'm saying. It's silly. The tournament has resulted in some good matches, but the whole thing is silly. That's my point. It's silliness.
Why didn't you just
Um,
bring back the Cruiserweight Classic?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, have a tournament for when things clear up and he can defend his title here in the States or whoever, because he's going to defend it in the UK, because that would make sense. Um, this will be the number one contender.
Exactly. I would have done. I would have done it with. I would have done it with the women's championship. I would have done it with the cruiserweight. I would have done it with maybe 2 or 3 of the championships. But like, look, we're going to have a tournament. Fans can't be here anyways, so we're going to have a tournament, and at a later time, that person is going to get a chance.
Mm-hmm. Chris said exactly. I think the interim shtick is asinine. All right, we're all on the same page.
Again, you're talking about the same company who had Hornswoggle be the anonymous general manager.
Mia Yim and Charlotte. I really like Dexter Loomis.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is cool as fuck.
Yep.
Like, okay, and here, I sometimes I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, good.
But you know, and everybody who listens to the show regularly, or I can always tell when something in wrestling is good, and I'm not just being a mark like I am, based on my wife.
Yep.
Because my wife and Kyle's watch pay-per-views at my house, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. When wrestling's on, my wife is usually just on her phone. She's not really paying attention.
And it
You're
was
watching
funny.
your wrestling, babe. Go ahead and watch your wrestling, babe.
Yeah, and it was funny because when they were first together, she would watch every single thing. And now she's comfortable enough to be like, "Yep."
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's how I gauge whether or not something is as
Mm-hmm.
cool as I think it is when she reacts to it. And I'm
Yep.
watching NXT and she's on her phone or whatever, and she looks at the TV and she's like, "Well, that guy's creepy. Who's this guy? What a
Yep.
freak. He's a creep." Exactly. Gotcha. That guy is
Yep.
cool as fuck. I really like that character. Um, and let me see. Chris knows TNA. I don't know TNA. I haven't watched it in a decade. I've liked Loomis since he was Samuel Shaw in TNA. The only thing that bugs me is his music. He comes out and I think Stranger Things just came on. I always think the same thing too. Is his music does sound like the Stranger Things theme. Very good stuff though. I like that guy has a world of potential.
Yep. Hopefully.
As long as they never change him and try to make it comedic.
Well, and that's the problem. Is that if it doesn't work, pal, we'll make you dancing. It's like, okay.
We'll do the Stranger Things remix, pal.
Well, and that's you sit here and tell me that you honestly don't think that if Yokozuna hadn't left when he did, he wouldn't have been dancing, and so would have Vader.
Yeah, Yoko would have lost the tights that was underneath that.
Oh hell! Oh yeah! Oh god! Yeah!
That big ass would have been all over your TV screen.
Look at Big Show.
Ain't no party like a Yoko party because a Yoko party don't stop.
Big Show is the best big man that this company has seen since Andre the Giant. I mean, he's the comparable to Andre the Giant, and they had him in a damn freaking diaper like Akibono at WrestleMania. Sit here and tell me that they're not gonna. Jesus.
Aaron is out here making demands of us. He had earlier for David Gold he defined booty beef. So here is the definition of booty beef. It's about life. It's about death. Hold on, I gotta scroll back up now.
Oh Jesus.
It's about life. It's about death. It's about the light. It's about the darkness. Booty beef is about nothing and everything. Booty beef is booty beef. Hashtag booty beef.
Well, thank you for that art house explanation. Jesus Christ. Good God. What a way to not answer a question. I still don't know what booty beef is, Aaron.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. God.
Keith Lee and Damian Priest had a decent match for the main event in this week's show with the North American title. Chris said Vince actually wanted Yoko not to have the tights. He refused. I remember reading that somewhere too, that at first Vince didn't want the tights under the sumo thing. Man.
So he ended up getting his fat Samoan with no tights.
Yes, he did.
Oh, Vince will get what he wants. Believe you me.
So I think, NXT this week was okay. It was passable. It was and I'm not going to elaborate on this. I don't want to talk about it. I don't have time for it. But that Matt Riddle Thatcher stuff was fucking terrible. It was main roster comedy at its worst.
Just when I don't think that they can do any worse, boy, they come back and they they make me eat my words.
It was just it was just fucking
I
horrible.
right now, as it stands, if Orange Cassidy and Matt Riddle could just be gone from this world, I would be. I shouldn't say gone from this world, gone from my TV. I would
Yeah.
be completely happy.
Let's get
They
these guys get these guys into Hollywood. Get them out of the business. Let them go be actors.
at least with Baron Corbin, he's a heel and he takes a good ass whooping, and he seems like a decent guy
Don't you fucking say anything nice about Baron Corbin on this show.
compared to fucking Orange Cassidy and fucking Matt Riddle.
Aaron said later, shitbirds. Thanks. Fuck you too.
Yeah.
And Chris said, Riddle equals terrible, so that's kind of a given. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're hitting on that one. AEW this week was decent. Cody and Darby had a really good match to
Yes,
start
they
the
did.
show.
Yes, they did.
Darby Allin continues every single week to get better and better and make me more and more of a fan. Chris says, just think, Kyle, Cassidy and Riddle could work together and be bro juice.
Oh, I bet they could. Oh, that'd be wonderful. You know who I want to see them in a match with?
Put your hands in my pockets.
Yeah, you know who I want to see them in a match with? I want to see them in a match with APA. And before they go out, they want to tell APA they're not going to be put through a table. That's what I want to
APA
see.
be like, Ron Simmons like, you tonight, you two are public enemy.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, I can't find any fault with Cody and Darby other than they always have to. There has to be at least 3 segments on every show where they fucking work Brandy in there. But she just needs to be off TV. I don't know why she has to be worked into every goddamn show every week. Some like 2-3 times. I gotta see.
She's one of the benefactors. She's one of the people that's
But yeah, like I said, I put over Darby again. Darby is great. Darby is a star, and he was to me he's unexpected because when the show first started, I didn't know what to think, of his gimmick and everything, and
that's what we're seeing now with AEW. Is we're getting to the point now where guys are the cream is rising to the top.
Yes. Let me see, Scorpio Sky stuff. It was marginal. I was happy to see MJF back on my TV this week.
So yes. Yeah. And MJF. He is the greatest heel of the last 20 years.
I think that, and I've said it before. I sometimes I repeat myself. To me, at least of the past decade, he and Nick Aldis are 1A and 1B. They're my two favorites. Yes, definitely.
Nick Aldis to me is he's almost he's almost like a Harley Race type heel. Where he doesn't have to be flamboyant, he doesn't have to talk trash. He just got to come out and say, "I'm going to beat you," And then you have MJF, who's more of the Ric Flair, where he is very pronounced, very,
Yeah, and he's for a fact if he gets up shit creek, he's going to use his stooges to.
Oh hell yeah!
He's going to try to buy his way out of everything.
And both guys have the one quality of a heel that I always look for. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, it's a guy that it's like that, where if Nick Aldis or MJF comes out, at first people are going to cheer because they see him, and he can immediately churn them.
Yes.
Immediately churn them. Against
that. That was an ability that a Randy Savage had.
Yep.
That was an ability that The Rock had.
Yep.
When he was a heel. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, what Michael Hayes. Let's see. Chris says, I think I want to see an Archer Wardlow collision. And why does Wardlow remind me of young Rhino with Miracle Grow? I
It,
see it. I see it.
yeah,
And that, well, there you go. Next thing on AEW, I have Where's Wardlow in action. Um, but his squash matches are good. Like I'm becoming a fan of that guy.
yeah.
You know, for his size and everything. At first I was like Wardlow, what a weird fucking name. What
You
is
know,
this guy's deal?
you know what? If we come out with a T-shirt, we need to come out with a T-shirt. We need to fucking open up a T-shirt thing. We need to come out with a "Where's Wardlow" T-shirt. They have like a whole thing and
have
have him hidden
have
somewhere.
well, I was gonna say have a ring full of little faces, and you got to find the Wardlow
Yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah.
um, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even watch Havoc and Sabian versus Best Friends because I knew I'd just get mad.
Yep.
So I don't. Did you watch it? Because I don't.
No,
I have nothing on it. Okay.
not really. But and that's the thing. It's like if it makes you mad, don't fucking watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kip Sabian, not a fan. Best Friends, they suck. Jimmy Havoc looks like an AIDS patient. I got nothing. I got nothing for these guys.
No,
Got no time for them.
you
Britt
named
Baker.
yourself Jimmy Havoc. Come on, couldn't have done anything more original than that.
Britt Baker's segment was fantastic. It was fan because it was there's bad wrestling comedy and there's good wrestling comedy.
Hmm.
And hers was good. That was great. You know, like the makeup artist lady doesn't think she's being recorded or whatever, and she's kind of talking about what a bitch Britt Baker is and everything. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I love Britt Baker. It was really good. It was a good segment,
Hmm.
and she's doing great. Her and Tony, man, her and Tony Schiavone are
Oh,
such a good act, like together. They're like um oh God, I was thinking about it the other day when I was watching it, or a couple weeks ago when I was watching the show. I was like, who is it that gave Gene? Like, it's like Bobby and Gene, or
hmm.
somebody. There's somebody else than Gene too that I was thinking of at the time. That somebody that always gave Gene a bunch of shit when, it was like,
Reminds
fuck,
me of the
who was
Rock
it?
and Mick Foley.
Okay, yeah, I can see that Rock and Foley,
We're,
or on an interviewer level, Rock and Kevin Kelly.
yes, yeah,
You know,
exactly. Where you have the one guy, you have Tony Schiavone, who's just a fucking nerd about it, and you know, and kudos to them
hmm
for making that work and both playing their parts perfectly because it's so entertaining.
And speaking of Tony, him and Jericho are so good together too. Jericho needs to just retire now. He just needs to retire and go in the booth and be the new Bobby Heenan because he is so good.
he he's this era's Jesse Ventura. He like if AEW doesn't when Jericho retires, have him replace that god awful, horrendous Excalibur. I Because think about it, you have the perfect heel.
Chris just commented Pineapple Pete, and it made me laugh because I thought about Jericho Pineapple Pete.
Oh shit. Well, see, and that's the thing about it. Like that's the Jericho we could have gotten the last 15 years if it
hmm
wasn't stifled by Vince McMahon.
Yeah, yeah. This
I
is this is. I'm going to be honest with you. This is my and everybody knows I'm a huge mark for Jericho. I love sorry. I love heel WCW Jericho. Um Obviously Jericho and WWE, but this is probably it's I don't know that it's my favorite Jericho yet. But this is my second favorite phase of his career. My first favorite phase of his career, honestly, is still the 2008 suit wearing Chris
mhm.
Jericho, the low talking heel, the
Yep.
feud with Michaels, where he had the ladder match, but he won by accident and was missing a tooth. And I mean that's my favorite Jericho, but this is most definitely my favorite Jericho, my second favorite Jericho.
I loved what made the '08 Jericho so great was when him and Sean were having the contract signed, and Sean's just boom right at him. Jericho's,
Yep.
you know,
Well,
won't even look into this.
I was at SummerSlam '08 when he live in Indy when they did the angle where he punched Sean's wife by
Yeah,
accident. And I've been to a lot of wrestling shows in my life. And I've never been to a wrestling show in my life where there was a segment that had so much heat. Like that was done to perfection. So yeah, I mean and we got off the beaten path there, but
yeah.
I was just trying to put over this current Jericho because the
This is
guy.
why.
Is there
This is why.
anybody that's ever reinvented themselves as well as this guy has as many times?
No. Well,
I
maybe
mean,
Undertaker.
yeah, but okay, but he's still
Still the
kind of
dead. Yeah.
yeah. He's still yeah.
No,
He's made changes to the character as time goes on, but Jericho's just the king of evolving himself.
that's why when we had the greatest pro wrestler of the last 20 years, I put Jericho at the top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Every single week, he keeps proving that time and time again why he's the greatest of the last, the last decade, the last 20 years. Because
Definitely.
think about it. I mean, name me one other guy who's done what Jericho has done.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know anybody in my circle anyway of wrestling fans that doesn't like him. You know,
No, yeah, he's
everybody. I know somebody who dislikes every wrestler. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I'll say I like Bret Hart, and somebody like I don't like Bret Hart, and they'll tell me why. But when I say I like Chris Jericho, everybody's like, yeah, Chris Jericho.
oh yeah.
um, I like um, I liked the fact that they're doing the Taz analyzing moves. He was always good at the tail of tape thing in the WWE.
Yep.
Um, I the less said about Marco Stunt, the better. So we'll just skip over the Brody Lee beats up on the little boy thing. John Moxley's promo was cool, and he's right. Call your grandmother. Call your grandmother.
He, look, I'm sorry. For weeks I have been singing the praises of not necessarily the Dark Order,
Dork order.
but of Brody Lee.
Oh, I
This
like
week,
Brody Lee.
the like the bloom was off the rose. Like it's starting to get stale.
Yeah, the Mr. Brody Lee thing, I don't they to me and it's kind of like you said with the bloom off the rose, when I heard they got their hands on him, I was like, cool. We can finally get that badass Brody Lee that I liked to watch before
Mm-hmm.
WWE or when they first started with the Wyatt family. And instead, I'm getting this goofy Mr. McMahon kind of gimmick that just does not work. It doesn't work for him. It doesn't
No,
work for him at all.
and that was the thing about it. I was like, okay, I get what they're doing. Like they're gonna make him this crazy cult leader, almost like a David Caress or a Jim Jones. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but no, they're not. They're just making him Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And I was like, you to me, you struck gold the first couple of weeks, like with having him, like I like the fact of him eating the steak and being like, no, you don't eat before I do. You better
Right.
smart your boy up. It's like, okay, we're gonna build from this, and then it's like, no, no, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn it, damn it.
And then the main event was good. Archer and Dustin.
Mm,
Good match. Good wrestling match.
mm.
Um, there wasn't anything bad about it.
No, perfect,
Mm-hmm.
perfection.
Mm-hmm.
To have to have Dustin a bloody mess, because that's what needed to happen.
Yeah.
is Archer needed to decimate.
Yes. That's how you book pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He decimated the veteran.
Yep.
And
Because Dustin didn't lose anything from that.
no, no, not at all. Um, so again, this is kind of history here. Third week in a row that I've said this since its inception, because I keep saying it every week just so people that are joining us, we have a lot of new members and stuff and new listeners as time goes on. But I was pessimistic about AEW when it started because it had a lot of stupid garbage that I didn't like. Um, and it still does sometimes. But this week I just fast forwarded through that garbage because really the only garbage on this show would have been that best friends tag team match.
Yep.
Once again, third week in a row, this is the best wrestling show on TV. They
Mm-hmm.
they have really, really, really hit their groove. And if they would just find a way to send Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks back to Japan, and if they would just find a way to make that Bro Juice tag team happen, and Orange Cassidy joins Matt Riddle somewhere in Southeast Jersey or something in the Indies, AEW might have a perfect wrestling show. So really quick, since we're down to our last, go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, I could see why Kenny Omega is what he is. I think
Oh, I know he is
Kenny,
what he is.
but it's not like Orange Cassidy where I'm like, I think that Kenny Omega has a lot of potential. Whether or not he ever realizes it is up for debate. I think even the Young Bucks have a lot of potential. They need somebody to come in and slow them down and be like, look, this shit that you didn't get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the Revolt will be that team because it looks like they're going to be coming
Yeah.
to AEW.
Because the fact is that it's like if this shit worked, you would have been in WWE.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's my thing. I lump the Bucks in just because I'm not a huge fan.
Right.
My hatred of the Bucks is along with Kenny's kind of a gimmick. I'm gonna admit it. Breaking kayfabe. I hate Kenny. I hate Kenny Omega. Fuck him. Go away, Kenny. The Bucks, they could be a decent Hardy Boys style team
Yes.
if they would get with the right. They have to be the baby faces. They get with the right heels. Say the Revival. And I mean, you could have like an Arn and Tully versus Rock and Roll Express kind of thing. The Bucks just annoy me because of the amount of high spots and the lack of selling. If they would slow down and sell, they might not be that shitty. Omega, fuck him. Nobody will ever change my mind on him.
And that's fine.
Kenny Omega is a douchebag who Okada dragged to a couple of good matches.
Yeah.
And other than that, to me, he's hot garbage.
You know what the Bucks need? They need the Revival to come out there and just bloody them.
Yes, beat the fuck out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to sell Ricky Morton.
I was just gonna say they need to get the shit beat out of them like the Rock and Roll Express used to.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Because nobody
Mm-hmm.
sold like Ricky Morton.
Mm-mm.
The only person ever sold like Ricky Morton was Shawn Michaels. Almost got there.
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels almost got there, but the best salesman in wrestling history is Ricky Morton.
oh, yeah.
Like you felt you were like, come on, Ricky, come on. I'm sorry, Ricky, you're in so much pain. And you know what? I saw him a year and a half ago. At however old he is, I got to meet him and Robert. They let me wear their Hall of Fame rings to take a picture. They were cool as fuck. And he got in the ring at that age and still was just as good as he was when he was fucking 25. It was amazing. He got that crowd so fired up. He sold like a fucking champ. God bless you, Ricky Morton, you motherfucker. You are a talented bastard to the day you die.
Yep.
Okay, quick. SmackDown. Not a lot to say anyway.
Nope.
One of the best wrestlers in the world, Daniel Bryan, wrestled Kenny Omega's brother, Corbin.
Bryan's just another guy.
Yeah, I know. It's sad.
It makes no sense.
It's sad. And now, okay, Braun and Bray. Good segment. Mm-hmm. You know what I like the most about this? Not only just because I love watching Bray Wyatt, But I love the fact that Braun is not right now. He's not selling it.
Yep.
Like, enough of your fucking games, Bray, and which leads me to believe that there's probably going to be some crazy shit goes down at Money in the Bank. I'm not going to go much into talking about the story, and we already elaborated on the fact that I really like this story and stuff. But I think that I think this results in Bray doing something to find the chink in that armor
Mm-hmm.
at Money in the Bank, and I'm interested. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yep. It you feel a lot more because it's not Goldberg just calling in on Skype,
Right.
that he's there in the arena.
Yeah.
Again, I'm hoping that with everything that's happened, that they sit there and say, okay, enough with these part-time MMA fighters. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go back to what brought us to the dance.
Our guys every
Yep,
week doing pro wrestling.
exactly.
Um, Encouraging that they, sorry, you millionaire that lost your job, but encouraging that they released Cain Velasquez. I'm glad that happened.
Uh,
Um,
it's just like that. It's like what's that guy's name? Grunk.
uh, uh, Gronkowski,
Okay.
something Gronkowski, Rod
Okay.
fuck it, Grunk.
Okay.
Grunk is
Whatever the
fine.
hell his name is.
Let's get
Just like
Gronk.
that. He left and went back to NFL.
Good,
When
because
is
he was
when is
fucking
Vince
annoying
when is
anyway.
Vince McMahon when is Vince McMahon going to realize that all these celebrities and these stars, all they're doing is coming in for their 15 minutes of fame and then they're leaving.
Mm-hmm. They're using the
That's all they're doing.
WWE.
Great,
Mm-hmm.
great, cool. You just released the revival, but I'm sure you signed Cain Velasquez to a ridiculous contract.
Right.
Okay, you signed Ronda Rousey to come out here and basically take a shit on the pro wrestling business.
Mm-hmm. Fuck her in her big forehead and her small titties.
Great, cool, awesome, great. Ugh, I just,
Um, let me see.
you know what? That real quick. I'm sorry. Before we go any
Oh
further, I want to say, you know what? The only good, decent match that Ronda Rousey ever had was with her and Angle versus Stephanie and Triple H. And whoa, why was that? Because you had three fucking professionals who knew what the hell they were doing. And
Yes.
guess what? When Ronda Rousey got the chance to do it on her own, she fucked up the finish to WrestleMania.
Good job,
And
Rhonda.
yeah, and then you took your ball and went home and cried like a little baby, like you did in UFC because you got beat.
Mm-hmm. Chris
So
says
fucking at me, Ronda Rousey. I'll tell you what a miserable fucking bitch you are.
I think Nia Jax covered that for you.
Good. Yeah, Nia Jax become my favorite fucking female wrestler.
Chris says, thing is, they're promoting and having him keep the 24/7 title. Oh, Grunk. Yeah, Grunk
Good,
is
he can
still
fucking keep it and he can shine it up real nice. That's fucking wonderful.
Keep it on your shelf. Keep it on your
Yeah,
shelf.
we don't want it.
It's ugly anyway. The only thing that was ever good about that title was R-Truth, and it wasn't because of R-Truth, or it wasn't because of the title. It was because of R-Truth.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I'll do you one better. It's because of R-Truth and Drake Maverick, and fucking Drake Maverick's gone. So,
the only other thing I want to comment on SmackDown is I am enjoying the Sonya Mandy story,
mm-hmm.
and I am enjoying, of course, Otis, and I'm so happy he's in Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah!
If WWE was smart, they would fucking let him get it.
Yes.
He doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to win.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him get it.
Yeah.
Let him get it. Oh,
That
even
guy's
let it
awesome.
be a fluke.
And I want to ask a question, just a small question. Do you think that the end of this story with Mandy and Sonya is going to be? Are you picking up on little things from Dolph?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know if I was the only one that saw it. Is going to be that Dolph actually really cares about Mandy.
Hmm.
Doesn't like Otis, but he's not. It's like his character's not necessarily on Sonya's side, or he doesn't. She hates Mandy and all this stuff, and she's really evil. But Dolph kind of actually cares, and I mean, it's kind of a deep story for modern wrestling
Yeah,
storytelling.
I think it's going to come out to be that it's that like Dolph has been manipulated
Mm-hmm.
and played, you know, and played.
Yeah. That well, okay. So I'm not the only. I wasn't the only
No,
one picking up on it. All right. Well, do you have anything to say to our viewers before we sign off for tonight's edition of We Can't Wrestle
the only thing I want to say is I know that here the country is opening back up, but please, for the love of God, be smart.
Be smart.
Not just for everything, but for those people, you know. I posted it the other day on Facebook. I don't mean to bring the mood down, but the fact is that there was a case where a 5-year-old girl passed away in Michigan because of everything going on. This isn't about you and your liberties being taken away. No, it's about protecting people
Mm-hmm.
because even one death is too many.
Well, and
Shouldn't happen.
exactly, and you, okay, you or me might be perfectly okay with this. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, people. I work retail. I probably already fucking got it. I'm probably already a carrier at this point. Um, but it's not about me.
No.
It's about me taking that to my 94-year-old grandmother,
Yep.
or me taking that to my friend's small child, or it, and it is, and you, like you said, I don't want to bring the thing down, but people are so stupid. They think they know everything. You know nothing about contagious diseases. You know nothing about pandemics. Listen to the experts.
Yes.
Stay
And
home.
you know nothing. You nobody here knows anything about being held down or being having your liberties taken away. My God, we have it. Just like I said, it's the people are doing what they're doing to try to help and save people from passing away. And I understand. I understand that, you know, the flu and everything else and lung cancer and everything else. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about like lung cancer. Because I smoke. I know that Nate smokes and Aaron smokes. There's a lot of us who smoke. But here's the thing. Me smoking isn't going to affect my 10-year-old nephew.
Right.
This does. Even the
Exactly.
flu that we have shots for the flu. We know what we're doing with the flu. We don't know what we're doing with this. So just be smart, be safe, think about other people.
And be responsible and stop being self-absorbed.
I want to leave you with this last message. The only time you should ever worry about what's in your neighbor's bowl is to make sure they have enough.
Yeah. And Kenny Omega sucks.
And hashtag booty beef.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for joining me again
Thank
for
you.
another edition of We Can't Wrestle Live. Thank you, viewers, and we will see you next week. We might be reporting on shows with audiences next week. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Something new here on We Can't Wrestle Live. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night, everybody, and have a great week.